Caleb Williams is QB1. We already know that. Who's QB2? Well, you'll find out as we put the film on, bro, on a Monday edition of Football Takeover Show. Let's go. Yes, sir. Starting week 2 right here at the Football Takeover Show. I am owner, founder of FootballTakeover.com and JH Football Takeover on YouTube. I am John Harris. I'm also a football analyst and sideline reporter for the Houston Texans. Glad you are with me today. Hopefully, well, it's show 4. It's episode 4. Hopefully, it's 4 of about 10,000. You guys are here for each and every one, but I appreciate you being here to celebrate the game that we all love. On today's show, QB2. He's a little bit behind QB1 in the 2024 NFL Draft rankings. We know QB1 is Caleb Williams. Who's QB2? Well, it's Drake Maye from North Carolina. Not too much of a surprise, but I put the film on, bro, for the North Carolina quarterback and show you some of the great things that he's able to do. So we'll do that a little later in the show. Also, got a pick 6 for you. Today's pick 6, 6 teams in college football that I like their over-unders. Now, I'm not going to lock it and tell you these are the best deals of the year. I mean, I'm not going to do any of that. I'm just going to tell you 6 of them that I like and why I like them. Mostly, I like to go over because I don't like to think of unders because then I feel like I'm talking bad about a team, and I hate that. But I do have a couple. One in particular, you'll kind of go, It's going to seem contradictory, but you'll see why I'm going this way in just a little bit. But we kick off every show with the cover 3 of the hotter topics in all of football. And we start number 3 with a training camp rundown. Yes, NFL training camps have opened. They opened over the weekend. The New York Jets, Kansas City Chiefs, Detroit Lions, those teams have all gone on the field. I might have missed a few, but they got on the field. And, well, Jimmy Garoppolo in Las Vegas. Pass is physical. He's going to get all that scratch. He's going to get all that he signed for. And the Raiders will finish 7-10. Right where you'd expect the Jimmy Garoppolo quarterback team to be, with some not so great talent around him, not like the talent he had in San Francisco. So anyways, regardless, Jimmy Garoppolo, glad to see that he is healthy for the Raiders and see what the Raiders can do. Don't play the Raiders this year, at least not in Houston. So we'll see what the Raiders do. But Garoppolo back. Kadarius Toney with the Chiefs tweaked the knee. No further injury report right now, but he is out the first couple days of practice. And then Garrett Wilson in New Jersey is just doing stupid things. I mean, if you didn't see the catch, the back of the end zone, tap the 2, catch the back of the ball from Aaron Rodgers. I mean, Rodgers to Wilson could be absolutely dangerous. Now, Rodgers could go, I don't expect it. I expect him to maybe not be MVP level, but I expect him to be a lot better than what the Jets have had at quarterback, and that is going to bring out the best in Garrett Wilson and company and that pass-catching crew. And my goodness, what a nice number 8 pendant, necklace, chain, I don't know what you'd call that, from Sauce Gardner. That was nice. So there you go. Things happening at Jets camp, and we'll see it all in Hard Knocks. All right, let's get to number 2, where the Titans are cutting my heart right out with these Oiler throwbacks. I just watched this all weekend on Twitter. I've tried to stay out of this, to be honest with you. Look, if the Titans want the Oilers throwbacks, so be it. They're not going to take away the memories of what the Houston Oilers did here. Not the one year that the Oilers were in Tennessee as the Tennessee Oilers. Man, screw that. They were the Houston Oilers. So now I'm getting worked up. And I don't want to. And I hope they wear them for when they play us. And I hope we kick their ass. That would be really, really nice. But that said, they're wearing the Oiler throwbacks. I've always thought the unis were cool as hell. But now the Titans have them. And really, you know who only cares? The owner. The owner's the only person who cares about those Oiler throwbacks. If the fans do, they're a bunch of idiots. Look at your stadium, all those names that go around the top. Those players created their legacies where? In Houston. That's fine. You guys are the Titans. And I know there are I'm speaking to very few Titans fans, because the Titans fans are like, we're Tennessee Titans. Like, that's our legacy. They're good about it. There are a handful. Whatever. Titans are going to wear the Oilers unis twice this year, so good for them. And finally, the running backs met again. Yeah, they got on a Zoom. I don't know, about a couple dozen of them. And it sounded like it was good commiseration, good kind of bitch session, supposedly. Because really, what could you do? But as Nick Chubb noted, and I paraphrase here, well, what can you do? There's not a whole lot that you can go about doing with this situation. CBA is locked up through 2030. They're not going to make any changes. So you can either, as they maybe agreed to, you can hold out an off season next year. Like, okay. Now, Nick Chubb put it best. He said this, and I quote, "The biggest thing is we're the only position that our production hurts us the most. If we go out there and run for 2,000 yards with so many carries, then next year they're going to say, you're probably worn down." That's the biggest thing I took from it. And that is true. That's true. But you can't treat one position any differently than the others. It's going to create an inefficiency in the market, inefficiencies throughout. There are some things I think you can do with the franchise tag. I think you can do that because the franchise tag numbers are all over the place. And so I think there's something that you can do with the franchise tag that, you shouldn't have to give up 2 firsts for Saquon Barkley if you want to go sign him. Allow those players to match. If the franchise tag is a certain level, then you should have to give up a certain level of draft picks. If the quarterback franchise tag is up here, then you should have to give up it should match. That now it doesn't. Because quarterbacks, they're asking for this. Running backs, they're asking for this. So at that point, maybe that's something they could do, but that's going to be, I would imagine, something down the road, not till 2030, because that's when the next CBA runs out. So there you go. That's your cover 3 for this Monday show. All right, let's get into it. I put the film on, bro, of Drake Maye. Let's take a look at the Carolina quarterback, number 2 in my quarterback rankings of 2024 NFL draft class. Well, I love talking about Drake Maye, quarterback at North Carolina, formerly Myers Park in Charlotte, where he threw to Moose and Muhammad. Man, what a fun duo that was to watch in Charlotte. But we're going to take a look at his first year as a starter, last game of the year against Oregon in the Holiday Bowl. He and Bo Nix went at it. This is a really good look at how smart, accurate Drake Maye is with the football. There are a lot of things to like about him. Ball placement's really good. His athleticism, enough to get out and make plays. Whether if they were blitzing, I feel like he had an automatic that he could take off and run because he could take advantage of teams. He ran for over 600 yards. Incredible runner. Down at the goal line here at 3rd and goal, though, it's not a running situation. 3rd and 6, and you're going to see how smart he is, and then the ball placement that he is going to display on this one against Oregon. Now, a couple things are key here. You're going to see Oregon here, they're gonna lock the bunch and play inside out. So they're gonna play lock on the bunch. So they're gonna lock the front guy of the bunch here. So defensive back's gonna lock here. He's gonna take off and get out of there. Now these 2 right here are gonna play inside out. So when these receivers cross, the thought is, okay, well, he's gonna cross right into me, and then he's gonna come out here and I'll match up with him. So as you see this route develop down here, you're gonna see the point of the bunch. Okay, locked by the front guy. Now, when these guys cross, look at them right here. They're actually going, okay, who's coming to me and who's coming to me? So they're playing inside out on the bunch, and Maye is reading that. Now, what they've got here is they're going to play around with this defensive back's read because instead of going down here and across as they switch, he's going to come in and then back to the corner. So as we watch this through, watch it inside. Let's our receiver step in and then look and break to the corner. Now, he's already got leverage. And Maye's got to flip it in there. Now watch this throw. This throw is brilliant. He's fading away, which isn't textbook, but he's fading away. Gives it a pump fake. I don't know if he really needed to do that, but he gets a pump fake, and then he recoils, and then cocks it, and then throws a dart right over the corner that fell off the outside guy. And then that's why the fake probably wasn't needed. But he throws it right over top of him, and then right where his guy's the only guy that can catch this. Great read. Excellent ball placement. Would like to see the pump fake. Kind of unnecessary. Wasn't a double move, so he didn't really have to pump fake it. And didn't matter. He threw an absolute dart here for a touchdown. Let's watch it all the way through. Snap. Going to lock the point, Oregon, right here. Going to play inside-outside. Throw the ball to the corner. Boom. Look at that ball placement. Man, love that ball placement of Drake Maye. That is going to make him an NFL superstar before too long. Man, I love watching Drake Maye. My comp for him was Robert Griffin's game in Colin Kaepernick's body. He's not quite Joe Burrow because I think that's kind of the 6'4", 220 comp. He's not quite Joe Burrow yet. But maybe by the end of the year, I'll be comping him to Joe Burrow. We'll see. But that's a little down the road. He's actually a little bit better runner than Joe Burrow. And that's why I put RG3 on him, because RG3 obviously was a great runner coming out of college. But RG3 wasn't built like Drake Maye. Colin Kaepernick was. But Drake Maye throws it much better than Colin Kaepernick did, and he runs just about as well. So If you throw that into a big bouillabaisse, it's like take Robert Griffin's game, put it in Colin Kaepernick's body, and away you go. So there you go. All right, let's get to the pick six. Today's pick six teams I really like. I'm not going to tell you I love it or I like it as it pertains to their season over-unders in college football. You ready to rock? Let's go right here. We start with Vandy. Vandy, there's been a lot of love with Vandy lately. Some picking them to win the conference in the SEC. Now, I do think that's a little rich, but I do like the over 3.5. 3.5. That's the number. I like going over that. I think they've got one of the better wide receivers in the country, Will Shepard, who will be in the Harris 100. They got a returning quarterback who was, I thought, really good down the stretch. They won 2 out of 3 down the stretch, and they got hammered by Tennessee, but that was a hot Tennessee team at the end of the year. Their non-conference is Hawaii, Alabama A&M, at Wake, at UNLV to start the season. I can see them going 4-0 and you win your bet. Even if they go 3-1, it takes one win in the SEC, and they're in the East. One win. That's it. And 4 of the next 6 after starting with those 4 are at home. I think Vandy can get over that 3.5. I feel good about that. The other one is, next one is Kansas State. Over 7.5. I love this team. I love everything about the way it plays. They won a Big 12 championship last year. Now, we've seen before Kansas State teams win a championship, kind of fall off. It's a pretty talented team, especially on the offensive side. Will Howard's coming back. They've had a transfer at running back. Offensive line, 80% of it's coming back. Defense has got to find some guys to replace, especially in the secondary. But there's no Oklahoma on the schedule. They get TCU, Baylor, Houston, UCF, all in Manhattan. That's not bad. I'm going to go over 7.5. 7-5 beats you. I think Kansas State can be 8-4. I think that at a minimum. Now, this is the one that's a little bit controversial, and I'm kind of riding a trend here. And I don't want Georgia fans to freak out. Oh my God, you don't believe in it. Listen, the number's 11.5 and they play 12 games, right? So essentially, to go over, you're saying they're going to go undefeated in the regular season for the 3rd straight season with a new quarterback, having to replace Jalen Carter and a number of others on defense, after losing A.D. Mitchell in the SEC. Now, I know the flip side of this, and that is schedule is absolute garbage. But they still have to go to Tennessee. They still have to play Florida. Florida's not great. Tennessee is much better, and they got to go play them in Knoxville. One loss, and it's an under. One loss, it's under. So if you're going over, then you're banking on the fact that for the 3rd straight year, for the 3rd straight regular season, Georgia's going 12-0. 3rd straight year. I can't remember a time that's been done in college football, at least not recently. I mean, Alabama may have done it, may have. I couldn't find the years in which they would have, but they could have. But it's 3 straight years undefeated. That's 36-0 in regular season, 3 years in the SEC. As good as Georgia is. Now, here's the opposite side of this. Georgia would be number 1 in my top 25. And I think they're going to end up winning another national championship. But I do think they'll do it 11-1, even though the schedule is just awful. All right, Tulane. So, with Georgia, I'm going under 11.5. I'm taking the fact they'll lose one game. They'll trip up one time. That's it, one time. And that's enough to get under. Tulane. Now, I'm rolling with this one, and you'll see why. I'm going over 9. Some have it 9.5. I've seen some at 9. Now, 9 is a good number because the only way you lose that bet is if they go 8-4. And there's no way. There's no way Tulane's going 8-4, even coming off of last year. The only way it happens is if Spencer Pratt goes down at quarterback, and I hope Michael Pratt goes down at quarterback, and I hope that doesn't happen. I mean, if that happens, what can you do? I mean, injuries happen, so I'm not factoring in injuries. But with the moves of Cincinnati, UCF, Houston, all to the Big 12, they don't have any of those teams on the schedule. The toughest opponent is Ole Miss at home, and then after that schedule is relatively easy for that group. I think Tulane can go 10-2 at a minimum. I think Tulane can be very, very good. I like Michael Pratt, the quarterback. He'll be in the Harris 100. I think they've got a couple of game changers on the defensive line. Really love Darius Hodge on the outside. I think they could be a really surprise team. Maybe not surprised because they won the Cotton Bowl last year. Now, they got to do a lot of expectations. But to lose that bet, you got to go 8-4. So worst case, they go 9-3. It's a push. But I think you get 10-2 with this schedule. So I'm going over 9 with Tulane. I don't like going unders, but I'm going under with Oklahoma. I seen Oklahoma at 9.5. You got it. I mean, to win the over, you got to go 10-2. 9-3 gets you a win if you're under. That's what I'm going with. So I just can't. I don't think they're going to get there. I do think that's an experienced team. A couple of key veterans. Got a good linebacker coming in. Deshaun McCullough coming in from Indiana. But they got to play Texas. There's no K-State. But that Bedlam game is going to be crazy. I mean, no matter what, no matter how talented or not Oklahoma State is, that game is just nuts. But I don't think the schedule is easy enough to match Oklahoma's talent level, which I don't know. I'm just not buying it. So I'm going to go under 9.5 for Oklahoma. I mean, 9-3 is an under and a win. So that's what I'm going with. Last and certainly not least, boy, this was a tough one, because watching this offense can be dreadful. But Cade McNamara should make Iowa's offense that much better. They've got returning starters all over the place. A couple of the most talented players in the country, Cooper DeJean in the secondary, whether he's playing corner, safety, or nickel, he's tremendous. I like the receiver group. Offensive line's coming back with some experience. I think Iowa going over 8.5. There's no Michigan. There's no Ohio State on the schedule. Their non-conferences, Utah State, Iowa State, and Western Michigan. Throwing the fact it's experienced, it's talented, and better quarterback play, I feel like I can get to 9-3, or let me say, Iowa can get to 9-3. And if they get to 9-3, feeling good, my friends. That is your pick six for today. And that is the show. Appreciate you watching Football Takeover show right here on YouTube. Make sure you're checking out footballtakeover.com. Got books coming out. Got Harris 100 coming out. Got top prospects in the Big 12 and the SEC coming out. So much on August 1st as we get ready for training camp in the NFL, and then college training camp kicks off. All kinds of stuff going on. We'll talk about it and go over it all right here on a Football Takeover show. Appreciate you being here.